Hi there, folks. Welcome back to Rich Review. So my latest film that didn't get a wide release in theaters, didn't make much money or found its way onto the internet. The latest of these is a documentary, and thankfully it's not a documentary about a musician or a band altogether. This happens to be from the Daily Wire, What is a Woman? Yes, the Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Andrew Klavan, and their pals have decided to go into the movie business for whatever reason. And this is partially based on Matt Walsh's book, What is a Woman? And also partially inspired by that exchange at the confirmation hearing in which, Senator Blackburn asked Judge Jackson, what is a woman? And her response is, I'm not a biologist. Which, quite frankly, to me, when I heard that, it was just sort of like, why in the world was that even necessary to ask this question? Granted, here's the thing. I've sat through plenty of crap documentaries this year. I saw the latest from Dinesh D'Souza. And granted, as like everyone else these days, we all live in a hyper-partisan world. We all want to live in our own unique bubble. And we all get angry when someone tries to pierce that bubble. And when it comes to transgender people and the use of pronouns, that clearly is trying to pierce the bubble that Matt Walsh wants to live in, which is basically, yes, women cooking and cleaning in the kitchen, having multiple kids, no abortions, homosexuals don't have any rights, transgender people are locked up. That's his worldview. While everybody else just wants to live and let live, he can't, but alas, that's his personal beef. To watch this documentary is to exist in one's fantasy land of, paranoia and rambunctiousness because, and first of all, it's selective editing because the people in this documentary, outside of the people that affirm Matt Walsh's worldview, look like a bunch of idiots. The medical professionals here, particularly two, look like a bunch of dits. Particularly one transgender doctor who helps people transition from a man to a woman. Matt Walsh asked this doctor, what's the youngest person you've ever helped transition? Now she says 16. Now, first of all, let me say this. I don't have kids. I don't know when I'll ever have kids. But if I had a kid and that kid told me, and if my kid told me, at the age of 3, I'm a girl, I would just sort of dismiss it because, quite frankly, I think 3-year-olds shouldn't make big life decisions. Well, if you're 13, 14, 15, 16, okay, what do you do then? Clearly, the science is clearly out there. Then, of course, Matt Walsh travels to Kenya, of all places, to help people reaffirm his own set of belief systems. Don't really get why he had to go to Kenya, because, quite frankly, there are plenty of Christian conservatives that are probably willing to affirm his worldview in America, obviously. Interviews people that shits on Alfred Kinsey, of all things, and one other scientist I don't even know of. He interviews someone who transitioned to late in life and, quite frankly, regrets it and has a whole bunch of infections. And, quite frankly, he believes this person who transitioned, he's trying to sound the alarm. Clearly, there are people that suffer from gender dysphoria, and we clearly should do our best to help these people live their natural, authentic lifestyles. But again, who really knows what, people who really do need a transition to who is just doing this because it's trendy. But then, of course, also Matt Walsh decides to trash on Leah Thomas, the swimmer from, that's one particular swim team. And at least one person here basically says, I doubt women's sports will exist in 10 years. Clearly, women's sports will still exist in 10 years. It's just in your mindset that, granted, I don't know how many transgender female athletes there are currently playing college sports. Apparently, it's a minuscule amount. And I get it. We live in an age where everyone lives in a panic about everything, and transgender people are going to be in the shitter now for a while. And of course, if things do make their way to the Supreme Court, well, let's face it, the Supreme Court has been rigged in your favor because, hey, look, Roe's getting gay overturned, maybe gay marriage. But alas, and then of course, they'll be forced to reaffirm your own worldview and, hey, look, transgender people can be once again, discriminated against. Also, let me just say this. I think the pronoun thing is stupid. I'll be honest. That's probably the one thing that I do agree with this film on. And it's something that I'm amazed that I even agree with, because who really thinks we need pronouns in our lives? If you want to call me something, please call me Michael. That's my obviously name. And so why in the world would I want to be called he or him or they? For that one person who identifies as a wolf, why? Why a wolf? I would like to identify as a guinea pig, because guinea pigs are cute and lovable. I think that's my personality in general. Also, there is this one interview Matt Walsh does with a college professor that I'm just sort of like, first of all, that's one of the most awkward and badly edited interviews I've ever seen. But also, this, quite frankly, college professor is one of the more dumb as rocks professors I've ever seen in my life. Of course, Matt Walsh wants to send him up to be looking like an idiot anyway. And also, there's that Loudoun County incident when Matt Walsh spoke at the school board meeting. And first and foremost, let me just say that any sexual assault, quite frankly, is inappropriate. And I think most transgender people are nice people in general, I would think. Matt Walsh is going about doing the Jess Waters thing, out on the street thing, of asking, what is a woman? Basically, and people are being idiots in front of the camera. So in the end, folks, what I'm going to say about what is a woman, I'm going to give this a only see when you're drunk. Yeah, what is a woman, man? So folks, what is a woman? Have you seen this? What did you think? Please put positive comments in the subject box below here, folks. As always, folks, like, comment, subscribe, and enrich yourself with knowledge. I'm Michael Rich, at Rich2 on Twitter. I'll see you next time, folks. Yes, hooray.